Namaste and Hari Om. Just let me know if you can hear. Can you hear? Great. We will wait for a few minutes just to let everybody join in. In the meantime, those who have already logged in your own minds and hearts, with all the devotion possible, let us invoke Bhagwan Vigneshwara, that there be no interruptions to our self-study of the Upanishads, as the Sampradaya, the tradition has always maintained. Also, today being Hanuman Jayanti, Hanuman representing ultimate devotion, Chitta Ekagrata, the capacity to know what is the highest and how to remain attached to it. Hanuman has shown to us what it is to recognize the highest in the form of Rama in his life and then remain firmly adhered, attached. That devotion that he shows, we seek today for ourselves before we embark the study of this Upanishad. So, welcoming everybody. Take 2 minutes and then I will start the invocation. Upanishad study, we all know by now, is a culminating study. Culminating because alone deals with, Upanishads deal with the final topic, the ultimate topic, the absolute topic, which is Atma Gyan. Mundaka Upanishad, many people mistake it to be Mandukya Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad is a different Upanishad. Mandukya Upanishad is a different Upanishad. We are doing Mundaka Upanishad. In the tradition, it is accepted that there were about more than 1,180 about Upanishads in all the four Vedas. Among them, about 220 are surviving, out of which 108 Upanishads have got some commentary. So they are available for adhyanam, for study. Without the help of the commentaries, directly studying the Moolam verses, the vision cannot be grasped. What vision? Vision of what the topic of Upanishad is, which is Atma Brahma Aikya Jnanam. This cannot be understood because the verses, the Moolam, the mantras, the mantras are in such a way that they are so terse, and also when they were heard by students, discovered by the rishis, heard by students when they were learning, they came with all the explanations. The rishis handed down the knowledge to the next generation with the explanation, but the mantras themselves needed that explanation, which was recorded as the commentaries by, say, in the form of Bhashyam, Shankara Bhashyam, who recorded as in wrote it down, that Sampradaya explanation of helping a jiva, which we all today as individuals see the world of plurality, duality, samsara as we call it. For us as students, the vision of oneness seems virtually ingraspable, impossible, because it's extremely subtle. To get that vision, the Jivatva vision has to be negated, corrected. Who will do that? Jiva himself. So, of those 108 Upanishads which have some sort of a commentary, anybody who is a mumukshu, and a mumukshu means the one who has a ichha for moksha. This ichha for moksha is actually a universal ichha. It is not something which one person has, another person has. It is a universal ichha for freedom. Freedom from what? As jivas, individuals, we generally do not understand this. Shastra helps us understand. We all seek freedom from a sense of limitation that we experience, the sense of helplessness that arises, and in Vyavharik life, that constant struggle and suffering. You want freedom from all that limits your own expression of how you wish to be. Everyone seeks freedom. and it is choiceless. Some recognize it and then wish to pursue it exclusively. In broad category, these are mumukshus consciously. Everybody is a mumukshu generally. That desire to find freedom is helplessly, choicelessly there in everyone. It is not something that you develop in time. It is something that is expressing through every seeking that one does. It is as natural as a desire for hunger, food. When one is hungry, did one develop a desire for food? Type of food we may have developed, but I am hungry and I only want food. I'm breathless, I only want oxygen. I'm thirsty, I only want water. Are these something that we have a choice over? No. These are not something that we have a choice over. Moksha is also one of those kinds of desires. Everyone has this choicelessly. That is why there is so much struggle and strife, because I our excuse me, because our desire for freedom intersperses in everything that we do. And because we center it outside in the world, we fail to get it. And because we fail to get it, we find ourselves disappointed and etc., suffering, and therefore the cycle continues. Mumukshutvam is something that is there in everyone. In that sense, everyone is a mumukshu. But there will be very few people, handful in a generation, probably less than handful, who will understand this correctly and then remain pursuing what will give them freedom. Remain away from that which brings that bondage and sansar, and remain pursuing in that which brings freedom. And such handful, very few people who have developed the capacity for discernment of where lies real freedom, the direction in which one needs to pursue to have that freedom, those are specifically mumukshus, तीव्र mumukshus. बहुत जब बहुत भूख लगती है किसी बच्चे को, when a child is really hungry, if he is not so hungry and you tell the child to eat something, the child will throw tantrums and nakras. The child will say, I don't desire, I don't want, will throw a lot of nakra. But the same child, when he gets hungry, very, very hungry, he will want to eat anything that's there immediately. That Tivra Mumukshu, when it gets identified in a person in the sense of directing it towards what will give them that freedom, and he begins to inquire around it, yes, then that Mumukshu will be called Jignasu. Correct. But Mumukshu as a Jignasu is actually the one who is going to be now focused, centered around what is that vision or perception in which my suffering dissolves for good. He starts inquiring. He starts wanting to know, because anything and everything he touches in the world, he contacts through his relations, he contacts through wealth, through family, through anything, through power, through status, through anything that he contacts. The mumukshu has the recognition that none of them give culminative freedom. It ties you down to another cycle. Such an perceptive person who is a mumukshu comes to the knowledge, seeking the knowledge, and seeks the teacher to say, "O Bhagavan," we saw this in Upadesha Sahasari also, the student's words are, "O Bhagavan," he tells the teacher, "what is that which will give me freedom from this continuous cyclical expression of most dukh and sometimes sukh? Kya hai wo? Can I ever come out of this also? Will I ever get that? Is it even a legitimate desire to seek?" The student wants to know. So those 108 Upanishads are actually only samavad. Samavad means conversation, a dialogue. Most of the people who hear this for the first time get surprised because you think Upanishad ज्ञान का मतलब होगा बहुत बड़ा कुछ होगा. It must be something huge and समझ नहीं आएगा and पता नहीं क्या क्या होगा. And the first thing you are told is Upanishad samvad hai. It's a very intelligent conversation. I would put it that way. Something that we lack in the world today. The capacity to have intelligent conversation. Here in this context in the Upanishads, the samavad is started by, initiated by, very, very unique to Vedic system. Samvad is initiated by a student, Shishya, a mumukshu, who has himself come to a firm conclusion कि इस जगत में जो कुछ भी है ना, ये सब कुछ छल है. Chal is the Hindi word. Some of you may be listening to it purely. Chal means deceptive. Whatever is there in this world is very deceptive. It is not something that is tangibly holdable. It's deceptive, illusory. It seems to be there and you get something and then it's lost again. Yes, Vedanta calls it mithya. But mumukshu at that stage, the student at that stage, the yearner of wanting freedom at that stage, don't worry too much of technical terms. The one who has that desire for it, वो ये सब शब्द नहीं जानता. वो बस एक इंसान ऐसा चाहिए उसको जो इंटेलिजेंटली उसका ये क्वेश्चन को आंसर करे. क्या कोई ये मेरी जो थॉट है, मेरी जो ये थिंकिंग है, whatever I'm thinking, whatever my thoughts are, am I even intelligently saying that there must be some solution to it? He wants a verification from someone. So the student starts the samvad in the form of a question. He asks a question to his teacher, to whichever person he has sought. And this, when the teacher realizes that this person truly has an earnest desire and is not a very diluted, compromised, or a dila dhala time pass, as we often say in today's world. If anybody ever got to know, we heard it from our teachers. If they went traveling now, we don't know what traveling ever, but at that time, in the traveling in the flights and all that stuff, those, it's just a hurt thing, not that. And then if somebody got to know that you are teach Vedanta, and then they'll say, tell me in a few minutes, what is Brahman, what is Atman? That's not samvad. Unless and until the student is clear that he has it in him to want to know, he then approaches the teacher who teaches this, who knows the subject, knows because he has also sought another person in the same desire. When you have some symptoms, unusual symptoms, say supposing you have some in today's times, cold, or you will identify it from another person because you have it yourself. As long as you've heard it, you can't fully appreciate it. But the minute you have become an experiencer of it, The minute you see some small lakshana indicator in someone else, you will instantly identify this person may likely have this also, because you have gone through it. This is the sampradaya parampara in which Upanishads establish themselves. Each seeker sought it, got it, and then by grace of Bhagavan, this parampara has continued till today. He found someone who approached him, also said, teach me, and he taught him. This is Upanishads, 108 Upanishads like that, out of which there are 10 major Upanishads on which the commentary has been established to deliver the vision of Brahma Atma Aikyam by none other than Adi Sankaracharya, by writing that explanation of the traditional way in which to see the verses so that you could arrive at the Brahma Atma Aikyam vision yourself. He recorded it in those 10 principal Upanishads chosen from all the 4 Vedas. These 10 Upanishads are indicated in a mantra also. It has a verse. Now, incidentally, through this manner of classes again, we are coming back to the Shravana mode, which means I am not giving you any text here at this point. You don't have, you're only going to be listening to what I'm saying. So as a result of which, you will have to be attentively listening. And yes, of course, in the process, we'll tell you what book and all that. Now, what is that mantra which talks of those 10 verses? 10 Upanishads. Isha Kena Katha Prashna Mundaka Mandukya Siddhihi Aitaryancha Chandogyam Prahadaranyakam Tatha. I'll repeat slowly. Isha Kena Katha Prashna Mundaka Mandukya Aitarya Chandogya. Oh, I started reading it. Isha Taittiriya. I have missed out on Taittiriya. Isha Kena Katha Prashna Mundaka Mandukya Siddhihi Taitaryancha Chandogyam Brahadaranyakam Tatha. I will re-refer, of course, the words, not the Upanishad names. That I'm very sure of. Isha Kena Katha Prashna Mundaka. Some of the acharyas maintain that the Upanishad must be studied in this krama. That is why the verse was important. Aitaryan Chandogyam Brahadaranyakam. When you see the krama, each one will talk of some major topic which would clarify an important point that the student would have asked with reference to the doubt that he has of what is that will give him absolute freedom. This whole approach of studying it in a systematic way is one opinion, one set of acharyas who maintain it. Liberal learning is, if a student has jignasa, then whatever text delivers that jignasa, that text is taken. Mundaka Upanishad is a miscellaneous kind of an Upanishad. It talks of a few topics together. Like Mandukya Upanishad, which you are confusing many of you with, will deal majorly with one topic, which is Avastha Traya, 3 states, and what is the Adhishtan of the 3 states. Chandogya Upanishad, the 6th and the 7th chapters, will deal with Srishti Prakriya. So you find Katha Upanishad, very simplified way, through a story, talks of Brahma Vidya. Ishavasya, the first one, because it in the Krama otherwise, but not, as I said, in the Krama, the first one to be taught, because it talks of Isha, Ishvara, the very starting point of inquiry. What is this world? What is Ishvara? Etc. We are taking Mundaka Upanishad. This Mundaka Upanishad, coming from Atharva Veda. All the 10 Upanishads are from the 4 Vedas, as I said. From Rig Veda, you have Aitareya Upanishad. From Yajur Veda, Krishna Shakha, you have Katha and Taittiriya. From Yajur Veda, Shukla Shakha, you have Brihadaranyaka and Ishavasya. From Sama Veda, you have Kena and Chandogya. And from Atharva Veda, you have 3 Upanishads, Mundaka, Mandukya, and Prashna Upanishad. So you have the basic outline of why these 10 Upanishads were studied as a part of the curriculum for a mumukshu. These Upanishads also have 2 divisions in the Veda part. Mantra Upanishad they can be called, or Brahmana Upanishad they can be called. Mantra Upanishad means they are predominantly mantras. Brahmana Upanishad means they are actually prose. Most prose, and sometimes are explanations of the Mantra Upanishad. So from the Atharva Veda, Mundaka Upanishad is a Mantra Upanishad. And explaining it a little elaborately, means a little more details in prose, would be the Prashna Upanishad. Mantra Upanishad always has a greater validity. So if there's sometimes a contradiction seen, there would not be if the vision is going straight. But if your thinking has got flawed somewhere by not understanding the Shastra correctly in the direction, there is a possibility that there is a contradiction in your own self. And if such a contradiction arises, then you need explanation further. So Prashna Upanishad becomes a little explanation in case there is a confusion that comes from Mundaka Upanishad. This Mantra Upanishad is in the Shaunakya Shakha of the Atharva Veda. The Vedas have shakhas based on the names of the rishis mostly. Shaunaka is a rishi who is said to be ascribed with these mantras that are together called as the Mundaka Upanishad. Sorry. Being a Rishi Pradhana Upanishad, incites that reveal the experience. The Shabda is the only way in which the word was communicated, the knowledge was communicated. Those mantras become Shabda Pradhan, conveying very specific artha. And that artha, I am saying these words, are hidden in the Sampradaya. Sampradaya means it's not literally hidden, it is capsuled in it to convey. Words are the artha themselves. To convey the arth, they have been given the words so that they can be delivered to the listener. That means the arth has been conveyed through the Shabda, and the listener who takes the Shabda has to get the Artha. That is the Sampradaya. So Mundaka Upanishad is a small Upanishad. As we move, I think about 60 plus mantras. I'll elaborate that next time. But as we know, each Upanishad had a Shanti mantra to begin with. A Shanti Patha. Shanti mantra, because we all understand that for any successful endeavor, and this subject being extremely subtle, for it to have a successful endeavor of communicating, there is the prayatna. Prayatna means effort. Swami Dayanand had put it in this way very well. Prayatna, effort. Person has to put in the effort. Prayatna karna hai. Then there is a kala, time. A certain time for which the effort must sustain itself. And the third factor is Daivam. Devata initiated means Anugraha. Daivam is Anugraha. Deva Anugraha means the unknown factor that in spite of all my best efforts, the results are not in my hand. The successful completion of it, we ascribe it to this divine force. Call them with whatever name. That Daiva Anugraha is a third essential ingredient to any action. Prayatna, Kala, and third is Daivam. Invocations was invoking Daivam because Prayatna we are doing. But Kala is not in our hand. Prayatna is in our hand. Kala to some extent, yes, if I can take out time, I do, but how much life do I have, etc., etc. What are my priorities in life, etc., etc. So, for a mumukshu, the important time of Brahma Vidya is the most important time in his life, her life. उससे ज़्यादा ज़रूरी कुछ जीवन में हो नहीं सकता, क्योंकि काल हमें नहीं पता किसका कहाँ वेट कर रहा है. Where, up to what time is this that each one of us has, nobody knows. So all Upanishads start with invocation. Invoking Anugraha, the third factor of the action, which we hope will conclude the Adhyanam, so that this rare opportunity of knowing Brahma Vidya, Janma Janmantara Punya Prapti, is when one gets this, even a desire for moksha, identifiable. As I said, everybody has it, but identified and pursuing it through Brahma Vidya is Janma Janmantara collection of Punya. It's not easy. This Sampradaya tells us, this is not what I am not saying as a person. Sampradaya says it's your collection of Punya which allows the Brahma Vidya to come. Therefore, the student knows the value and the preciousness of this occasion. So he starts both the teacher and the student, because teacher, when he becomes, in the sense, is a student always, but उसने भी सीखा है. So there is that little rin left on him. He wants to convey it back into the world, so that वो ऋषि rin जो एक होता है, he has, before his life ends, he knows that he has also repaid that back. That Rishi Rin is a part of your communicating process. So this Atharva Veda, each Veda has specific mantras, invocation, which is chanted for all the Upanishads which fall in that particular Veda. Atharva Veda has a very beautiful invocation, and it is very applicable to these times. Invocation is, I'm going to say it, some of you I know it, but those who do not know it, just listen to it. I'll try and repeat it. This is the invocation before we start the Upanishad, and every class before we start, we will do this invocation. You can repeat it after me or just listen to it. I'll also give the meaning after this. भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः व्यशेमदेवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. The whole invocation in this present times is actually very, very beautiful, and those who can memorize it should ideally memorize this. The student and the teacher together are praying for what? Firstly, to whom? To Devas. Bhadram karnebhihi shrunuyama devaha. To the Devas. Invoking the Devatas. What are they invoking? Bhadram. In the Shanti Patha also, when we do that, at the moment this verse is moving in my mind. Bhadram is a very beautiful word, which generally is translated as auspiciousness. This is very typical word only to our Shastra. To understand Bhadram means you bring all the words together. What are they? What is good? What brings happiness? What gives prosperity means happiness. What is best? What is favorable? What is excellent? What is kind? Kind as in good. What is gracious? What is desirable to everyone? What is praiseworthy? What is a blessing? What is seen as a blessing? What is welfare? All of these words together, I'll repeat them. What is called Bhadram? What is auspicious to oneself? What is called auspicious to oneself? What is good for oneself? What brings happiness to oneself? What gives prosperity to, means relief, relaxation to oneself? What is best for oneself? What is favorable for oneself? What is excellent for oneself? What is kind for oneself? What is gracious for oneself? What is desirable for oneself? What is praiseworthy for oneself? What is a blessing for oneself? What is welfare for oneself? All these words put together is Bhadram. The student and the teacher means the Samvad mein, before the Samvad begins, forget the student and the teacher. This is a seeker and seeker. Both are first saying, O Devtas, O, we are invoking Daivam. O Devtas, Bhadram, whatever is good, auspicious, favorable, brings welfare, kind, etc. Karne bhihi shrunuyama. Shrunuyama means may I hear. Through my ears. O gods, whatever is auspicious, जो सही बातें हैं, जो अच्छी बातें हैं, those that are good words, those that are kind words, those that are favorable words, those that bring happiness, those words that bring my welfare, may I hear them. It's a very touching prayer if you get the spirit of this. Even that first sentence means, may I not, my ears not hear something that is inauspicious for me, which is not welfare for me. Means, may I not be exposed to phaltu ki baat. Let's put it this way. May my ears not be exposed to non-essential for healthy living and mind and body. May I be, my ears listen to that which is going to be my welfare. Let me not hear things that are going to be opposite of this. Devtas, and those of us, because we're doing Tattvabodha simultaneously, Dik is the Devta for ears. Shrotrasya Dik Devtaha. May my ears that are enlivened by the Dik Devtas, you are praying to the Dik Devta, may only what is auspicious be heard. And in this context, if you have understood the context well, in this context, the student is saying to the Devtas, may I hear those words which will give me freedom. May I hear those words which will give me clarity of what is that what I seek really speaking, and what is the samadhan for it, what is the solution for it. May I hear because I can be hearing 1,000 things, but what will be auspicious for me? What will be beneficial for me? When I'm starting the journey of wanting to know who I am, I don't know what is the right knowledge, what is not the right knowledge. So I want Daivam, I want Anugraha first to lead me, so that only the right words is what I hear, so that that knowledge will not confuse me, so that that knowledge will not mislead me, so that that knowledge will not bind me. What I hear, those words should be auspicious, bring me welfare. Then the next sentence of this invocation is Bhadram Pashyema Akshibihi Yajatraha. Yajatraha is a very specific kind of devatas who are invoked, यज्ञ जो करते हैं उनको भी यजत्रास कहते हैं. They are invoking those gods who have this weakness for, it's just a manner of saying, they have this weakness for praise. So, when you're worshipping in the yajnas and you are glorifying them, then they quickly give you the desired result. They quickly give you the phalam of what you're asking, because they are happy with your stuti, etc. So he says this, they are asking for Bhadram. Again, what is going to be welfare for me? Akshibihi, eyes. May my eyes see Bhadram, whatever is welfare for me. May my eyes not get exposed to something that is inauspicious, something that is painful. May my eyes, in other words, get darshan of what is welfare for me. Darshan is in both the sense, actually. Darshan of the right things means may my senses be engaged. It's an upalakshana also for all the sense activities. May my senses remain engaged in the direction of things that are going to be beneficial for me, means welfare, that will bring welfare for me. Mera jisme hit hai. What will give me the right sense of direction? What will bring me welfare? So he says, Yajatraha, those specific gods, because we are now asking for Bhadram. So may you be pleased, and may my eyes be seeing what is Bhadram and not what is Abhadram, not auspicious. Sthiraihi Angaihi. This is an Upanishad invocation. Sthiraihi Angaihi. May my limbs be strong. Student is asking, teacher is saying, for this adhyanam to complete, I need strong body. I need a healthy body. I need strong limbs. Sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvam sastanubhihi. May all my limbs be of the body be strong. May all the limbs of my body be strong. Means may I have a healthy body to pursue Atma Vidya in this life. Throughout, I need a strong, healthy body. I have often said it, and because these are fresh classes, I'm going to repeat it. A student of Vedanta alone is the one who is qualified to demand from gods, because he knows what he is asking for is not one of the objects of the world. He's asking for something that is absolutely the truth of his being, which is the truth of everything. So he is in a demanding position if he wants to commit himself for Brahma Vidya. So he is asking Bhagwan, मुझे बीमारी मत देना बीच में, मतलब मुझे क्या मेरे फैमिली मेंबर्स को भी बीमार मत करो प्लीज. Hey Bhagwan, keep everybody that are involved directly or indirectly in my pursuit of study, please keep them healthy, because keep my limbs healthy, keep everybody associated in my pursuit for Brahma Vidya, keep them healthy also. Sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvam sastanubihi vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Just a minute, please. Oh, I can't pause this. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Yadayuhu word is yat ayuhu. Yat ayuhu means, you would understand, whatever life you've ascribed to me, it's not in my hands. Whatever life you've given to me, how should I spend it? Deva hitam. In your hit. Yajatrahas. So let me spend my life vyashema, engaging with effort. Let me spend my life in my efforts in doing what would be good in the eyes of the Devatas. What would be good for them? It can't be good for them. Therefore, what it means is, Deva hit jisme hoga. If I am focused that way, then I am bound to be also doing the right things. May I remain engaged in doing the right things. And then, swastina indraha vriddhashravaha. Now we are praying to gods specifically also. Indra Devta, because he's supposed to be the one who usually puts obstacles wherever there is Brahma Vidya pursuing. He doesn't like too many people pursuing Brahma Vidya, is how the stories go. So Indra Devta, we are saying, may you be pleased. Vriddhashravaha, you are the one who is the eldest. You are the Bhagwan of all the gods. May you be bringing us swasti. May you bring us naha to us. May you give us welfare, auspiciousness again. Swasti naha pusha vishwa vedaha. Vishwa vedaha is another name for sun. And pusha is sun. It says Vishwa vedaha, that name means the one who's all-knowing. He says, may you, the all-knowing, who is the sun, because the minute the sun illumines, the world starts activity of the knowing. So sun is representative of illumination, knowledge. Swastinaha, may you illumine us, O sun god. Swastinastaksho arishtanemihi. Swastinaha, to us bring us swasti. Takshyah is the name of Garuda. Garuda is Vishnu's Vahan, and he's supposed to be a Bhagwan who removes all obstacles. He's the representative who removes all obstacles. So Takshyah Arishtanemihi, may you remove all the obstacles, the difficulties, the obstacles that I may face during my, correct, safe and secure, yes. Whatever I may face as obstacles in the pursuit of this Vidya, Garuda is invoked to say, may you remove all my obstacles. There is a beautiful story, maybe next time or sometime, why Garuda is said to be the remover of obstacles, because he is also, just say, he's a Vishnu Vahan. So he, whenever obstacles are seen, Garuda's prayed for it also. So then the last one, he says, Swasti naha brahaspatir dadhatu. Brahaspati is then invoked. And Brahaspati is, we all know, Bhagwan of all the teacher of all the gods. And being the teacher, he is also the teacher of Buddhi, enlivening our Buddhi. So he says also the speech, Swasti naha dadatu, may you give us the Atma Vidya. Brahaspati, may our intellects be sharp to receive this Vidya. So I'll just repeat this through very quickly once. Bhadram karnebhi shrunuyam devaah, Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraah, Sthirairangai sushtuvam sastanubhihi, Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu, Swasti na indro vritthashavaah, Swasti nः पूषा विश्ववेदाः, Swasti नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः, Swasti no बृहस्पतिर्दधातु. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the three Shantis at the end of every prayer: Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. So may all the gods, and this is a true prayer, please, as much as I say, invocations become mechanical, invocations become repetitive, invocations just become words. Let's understand this, the minimum, if not Brahma Vidya, ultimately. The minimum we understand is this is a mantra Upanishad. These are mantras. And this invocation is a mantra. And like any mantra, they have their definite associated meaning. And therefore, it holds in it, the words have that power, and it holds in it that power. So with this particular invocation, the student is genuinely asking, both of them are asking, let there be Bhadram in and around me, and pleasing the gods, so that let there be no obstacles in this Vidya. I am not wanting it. We are telling Indra, we don't want your place with this. We don't want so much punyam that we want to take away your place. We don't want any of those karmas. We just simply want to learn what is the truth. What is it that will make my life worthwhile? What is it that will make my life auspicious? What is it? What are those words that I will, if I have not heard, my life will not be auspicious? What are those things that I should see? And if I have not seen, imagine if I have never seen an Upanishad book, or I have never seen, heard teachers, seen teachers, met teachers who have the vision of Brahma Vidya. If we have never had that anugraha, you may have met many spiritually inclined people, but if you've missed out on that, that means I've missed out on some Bhadram. So here the student is very clear what Bhadram he thinks is Bhadram. So he says, may my life be full of auspiciousness, not only for me, for all those I'm associated with directly or indirectly, who also help nurture my life. May their lives also be Bhadram. And in these present times, this is a beautiful Shanti mantra that we should all be chanting as much as we can, with all that our minds and hearts can invoke. So with this, I think I'll conclude today. I'm slipping away on the other invocation. With this, we will end the class. In all probability, we will have a class, next class on Thursday, same time. And we'll continue with this further from there. What is called Upanishad? And then we will start with the text. And this mantra we will chant as the invocation before this text every time. So thank you everyone. Stay fine, stay healthy, stay prayerful, stay well-meaning, and stay seeking the ultimate only. Thank you.